positive set of results that's come through, and we have seen a shift coming through more so on the services side. So a big focus there. Tell us about that shift that occurred over the last trading period.
Well, it's more than over just the last trading period. This is a strategic shift that we have put in place for a number of years now. We come from an infrastructure background, and it's a very commoditized area. And we thought that over time we must shift and become more services and solutions oriented, and we've been gradually doing that shift over this time.
So essentially, you saw more value moving into the services side of the business as opposed to focusing on the commodity
It's
side.
harder for services and solutions to be commoditized. You're talking more and more into your client's strategic issues, and you become a partner with them as opposed to just providing them with hardware which they can source from almost any place.
With regards to your cash flow, I mean, we're seeing cash flow generation of 163 million rand, cash on hand 321 million rand. I mentioned a possible acquisition. What do you have your eye on at this point?
We're not normally an acquisitive company, and over time we have stated our preference for organic growth, but we continue to have a look at the number of opportunities as we are currently now, which are presented to us. And we've always said whenever an ideal opportunity presents itself, one that speaks to our strategic requirements and the value proposition is evident there on the table, we'll certainly take the plunge and do such an acquisition.
With regards to tenders and public sector tenders, it has been one of the big issues within your space, and it's not only particular to Datacentrix. With regards to new tenders coming to the fore, we are expecting an upturn. What have you priced in as the best case scenario for 2011?
Well, the market would price that in. We don't know what that would be, but we continue to be very active. We've maintained our capacity and our infrastructure to service that particular sector of the market. We've always been hopeful that the spending levels will begin to come back to previous levels, and we remain ready whenever that would come in.
You also had quite a nice boost during the Soccer World Cup with regards to your managed print services project as well. So quite a nice boost there. With regards to ensuring that you do get such strong tenders, strong projects coming to the fore, it's always about replacing contracts. Tell us about that move.
Yeah, well, that one was, so to say, once off. But the managed print services is one of our strong offerings, and we have a number of clients that we have one more recently, one of the state-owned entities. So this is one of our more stronger offerings, and we like to think we're a leading contender among ICT companies in providing this particular service.
Cloud computing, cloud solutions, this is a very exciting space. It seems to be sort of the big buzzword within your industry. I can see you smiling there. Tell us about what you're going to be doing next with regards to this space, and whether there is a lot of appetite from people on the ground.
I think the first instance is to disaggregate it and look at what they call components of what cloud computing would be, and whether one wants to put oneself in a place where you're providing the whole of it, or take selected elements that often there be a player in those elements. I mean, a central part of that is the telecoms part of it, the broadband provision of that. We clearly are not a player in that space, and I think it will be foolhardy of us to try and think that we can take on the established players in that area. So it's how do you build around those capabilities, yes, and build a niche for oneself. And we think in terms of the pure ICT, pure IT elements of it, the services that we can provide, some of the infrastructure, we're very well placed, and we would be looking to see if we can partner with some of the
So in other words,
players.
a possible acquisition within this space, I hear, perhaps.
Well, not in the telecoms part of it, but yes, in terms of those elements that go towards providing a complete cloud solution, yes, we would be looking at those areas.
Fantastic. With regards to the balance between government, public sector contracts and private sector contracts, what kind of balance would you say needs to be looked at to ensure that you do protect yourself to the downside?
We haven't managed the balance we haven't looked at it that way. Over time, the government sector part of the business has peaked at about 40-45% of the business. It's much lower now, almost single digits now, and that's largely a consequence also of this private sector having grown quite aggressively. It's not only that the government spending hasn't come through, but we actually have been aggressively growing the private sector business. We want to grow both aggressively. And in terms of that mix, it's really where the chips may fall.